A typical exam question is determining the direction in which the river is flowing. And this is the criteria or things we use to determine the direction of a river flow on your topographic maps in geography. So the first one is when your river is flowing towards the mouth. So we know that our rivers will always be flowing towards the mouth. As you can see, the first factor there is you have a sea. So each time your river is flowing closer to a sea, we know that it is flowing towards the mouth, which is the direction of flow. So in this case, your river is going towards the east. And then another method is using the contour lines to check the altitude or the height, because we know that our river will always be flowing from upper course to the lower course if you are in grade 12. So as you can see there, you have 380 in meters, and there you have 320 meters in terms of height. So we know that our river in this case will be flowing towards the west. And then another method is using the bending of contour lines. So each time you have your contour lines bent, or each time you have your river flowing along the bent contour lines, we know that those contour lines are bending upstream. So for example, if you have contour lines bent like this, we know, and you have a river flowing in between, we know that this river is flowing towards the south, whereas your contour lines are bending upstream, which is towards the north. So in this case, as you can see, there's the low, there's the high. So that's the lowest point, that's the highest point. It means this river now is flowing towards the east, whereas the contour lines are bending towards north, or rather towards the west, which is the upstream. And another method is using the position of your dam wall. So we know that in this case, if your dam wall, or rather always the positioning of your dam wall is your directional flow. If your dam wall is located towards the east in this case, it means your river is flowing towards the east. For example, if this dam wall was positioned this side, which is towards the west, this river will be flowing towards the west. And then the last method is using the tributaries, which is what we call the confluence in grade 12. So this is where your tributaries are joining at an acute angle. So each time you have a confluence, which is your tributaries or your streams joining, that's where your river is flowing. So if this confluence was in that direction, it means now this river will be flowing towards the north. Let's look at examples. So when you look at block E5 of this MLO map, the first one is the positioning of the dam wall. So as you can see, the dam wall in this case is positioned on the east side. This means now this river is flowing towards the east. But how do we justify that again? We can also use, or to support our answer, we can also use the confluence that we see over here. So that tells us that this river is flowing towards the east. Again, why? Because of the confluence. These two tributaries are joining and are joining towards the east. So it tells us that this river is flowing towards the east. Why? This is because where your tributaries start, where they start, we know that that's where the river starts. So it means that's the source somewhere there. For this one, that's the source somewhere there. So it means now it is flowing towards the mouth, which could be somewhere around there. So another point we can use is the presence of this contour line over here. So as you can see, although it's not prominent, but it's telling us this river, rather it's bending upstream. So we can sort of justify that this river is indeed flowing towards the east. Okay. Another example we can use is in block E4 and E3 over there. So as you can see, the position of this contour line over here is bending upstream, and when we look at the positioning of the dam wall, there's the wall over here. So it also tells us that this river in this case is flowing towards northwest. And I did say that when we look at the positioning of your contour lines bending, although it's only one contour line in this case, it is indeed bending upstream, and the position of the dam wall also justifies that this river is indeed flowing towards the northwest direction. Another one that supports this statement that we say is this dam wall over here. So it means now two dam walls that appeared, that shows us that this river, in this case, it is indeed flowing towards northwest like that. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Until the next one.